Don't go out until you're completely ready. Spend a couple years in class, spend a couple years maybe being an extra, and learn everything, and then present yourself.
Common Sense Stuart, thank you so much for joining us today and watching today's video. And please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Common Sense Mamita. Today, I am thrilled to have as my guest, Jason Stuart. Jason is an actor, stand-up comedian, producer, and gay rights activist. Jason co-stars in the movie Birth of a Nation, and I am so thrilled to have him here with me today. Big game changer for you.
Oh, yeah.
On many levels. I mean, you've been successful, but this one was
So let's talk
really...
about that. Around 5 years ago, or really 10 years ago, I said I'm going to stop going on the road. I was a major headliner in comedy clubs, and I'm going to really focus on my acting career. And it took years to be able to work more than once or twice a year. It took years, and I had seen that they were casting out all over the country. And I thought, how do I get these parts? I kept saying you can't. So I got agents everywhere. You know, St. Louis, Florida, you know, Portland, Washington State, everywhere I could get an agent. Well, the one in New Orleans called me and said, hey, I want to handle you in the Southeast. And then I got this part on Sleepy Hollow. And then from that, I was going, I think, to Ventura to do a gig with some comedians. I'm in the car. I get an email that says, we need you to put yourself on tape for this part of this plantation owner. I thought, oh, God, I'm never going to get this. And they want it by noon the next day. And there's this big monologue. It's 2 scenes. And I thought, oh, I can't play a plantation owner. I'm a Jew. You know, I just did my show, went home, called the guy that was working as my assistant, Jake, and I said, hey, get there early. I put myself on tape. You know, it's hard times or small farmers like you and myself. And I just did it. Didn't think anything, sent it off. I get a call a week later. They want me to meet some guy named Nate Parker. And I have to go to Savannah, Georgia. So I use my frequent flyer, go to some shit motel, get one of those crappy little rent-a-cars, and it's one of those motels where this woman is pregnant, she's smoking off the balcony, and some guy's in the swimming pool that looks like he's gonna kill me in my sleep. Right? And I take my little crappy car and I drive over to the strip mall where they're renting out a store front to audition in. It's not even in Savannah, Georgia. It's all the way like 30 minutes out. Couldn't even get it on the GPS. So I go in and I find it because it's in the strip mall thing. It's big and there's this big parking lot, and I go have lunch. I take a picture of myself. I put it on Facebook and say, I'm auditioning for a plantation owner. Never gonna get this. And I go in the car and I start to rehearse, and I'm rehearsing the N-word over and over and over again in the parking lot like a crazy person because I've been saying the N-word a lot. So I'm sitting there in the parking lot and some guy comes over to me and says, I know you. And I thought, who knows me in the middle of a parking lot? It's
in Georgia.
A half hour out of Savannah, Georgia, not even in. So it's Nate Parker. And he's so handsome, and he's got this incredible energy, this Denzel-esque energy. When he looks into your eyes, you just feel like, I'm gonna be okay. So I sat there with all these people, you know, in this little hallway waiting to go in, and this girl, and I said, how's my accent? She said, you know, accent? I thought you were from here. And then I thought, oh, I made it. I made it in the shade. I walk in, I do the audition. He says, that was great, do it again. But this guy's funny. He's a blowhard. He says, can you do that? Can I be funny? I said, nightclub comedian, 30 years. Yeah, I can be funny. So I do it again. I say, can I read both scenes? Because I knew I wanted to get a head start, you know, which comes from experience, you know, that you can ask for what you want on your auditions.
But if you have no experience,
then you don't know what to ask. So I did it again. He said, that was great, thank you very much. And I said, God, this is a great project, good luck to you. Walked out, went back to my crappy hotel, and went to the airport, went home, you know, and I just thought, I'm never gonna get this. Get a call the next day from my agent's assistant. It's a Friday, and my agent was out of town that weekend on some trip, and she goes, hi, how are you? How's your day going? I said, well, it's going fine. She says, well, it's about to get better. I said, why? She says, well, you got the part. And I said, what part? Literally, I thought it was one of the other, you know, little episodics that they put me out on. And she says, you got the part of a plantation owner. And I said, don't lie to me. And then I just started to cry. I actually started to cry. And this started the change in my career. Now, if somebody would have told me that it would take this long to get a good part in a movie that people actually wanted to see, where you're working with incredible people that make you step up to the plate, I would have never waited to do this. I would have said, this is just way too hard. I just couldn't see myself waiting 30 years to get a good part in something. But what's really interesting about working on this film for me, the first day I went there, I got there to do wardrobe fitting, so I asked if I could go to the set, and I did. And if anybody's seen the film, this is the day that Nate does his speech on the porch after these black people are tortured. And he did this monologue, and he does these he did 2 takes, and that's it. I was like, oh my God, I'm really in something good. I need to go back to the hotel room now and get my shit together, because I am so far behind. And I spent every day, I think I worked with you, didn't I? I had 7 different friends every single day preparing for this part. Rewind just a little. When I got to Savannah, before I had the wardrobe fitting, before I went to the set, I was there 5 days early, and I stayed with a friend in Jacksonville, Florida, which is around an hour and 45 minutes away from where I was supposed to be on the set. And I called his assistant, and I said, hey, if there's a table read, if Nate wants to meet with me, I would love to talk to him before we start, because I hate first days of school, and I'd never really met him, because when you're auditioning, you're not really meeting somebody.
Right.
Got to the house, and he's there, and his house, his mother-in-law's there, and his kids, and his wife, and his cousins, and his friends. And it's like it's Thanksgiving at his house. They're all running around, and we commenced to talk about the part. And I didn't, because of the language in it, I didn't realize that my character was more well-to-do than the Turner family, because I thought I was different. So he gave me this information. Because of the way it's written, it's hard. It's written in almost a different language that you couldn't really tell, and I was so intent in getting my part right. So he gave me this incredible piece of information. We talked for 50 minutes. I went back to Savannah, Georgia, came back, had my first day of work, met Armie Hammer, who was just a joy to work with. And we were cut from the same cloth. I said, would you mind running the scene with me? He said, I loved it. We ran the scene. And I really never acted with Nate, even though he was in almost every scene that I was in, because in those days, a plantation owner would not acknowledge someone that was black. I really worked with him more as a director, because I had to put this sort of blinders on in order to deal with it. I also got to work with Roger Ganver Smith, who's a dear friend. This is an interesting story. So we're doing this big dinner scene, and Roger has to put this plate on the table. He's the house slave, and he kept knocking me. This is knowing your place in your character. I knew instinctively that I can't react to him. So I said, Roger, why don't I do this? I'm going to tell the woman who's playing my wife, I said, why don't you take the napkin, put it on me, and tell me I'm acting like a pig, and I'm not acting like I should at a table. So I had her do that. We did the whole thing like this, and she's talking to me. Then Roger was able to put the plate on the table, and I didn't interrupt the flow of the scene and what was happening in the scene. That's knowing as an actor what's going on in the scene, and as a character actor and a supporting actor, you have to know what's happening in the scene and what the scene is about.
Okay, so let's back up. I want to talk about representation.
I don't.
As an actor, what do you look for in an agent or in a manager?
I just hope that they'll return my call, acknowledge my email, not see me as limited, and be willing to go and do things differently, because there is not one way to do something. There's a thing called the breakdown services, and they have this company where the agents get these casting notices, and they submit through the computer, and I call it button pushing. And some of them just push buttons and hope for the best. Well, I don't think it matters anymore what kind of picture I have. This is it. People know this is my mug. This is it. I'm going to wear a suit. I'm not going to wear a suit. This is the way I look. This is just a picture that looks like me. I don't fix the pictures. I try to have the best lighting I can, but I don't try to make me look younger. Maybe I'll make sure this isn't showing on my neck or something, but that's about it. Because I just try to get a picture that looks like me. Because I'm not going to they either want my look or they don't.
Right.
Because I'm bald, I have a beard, I'm over a certain age, I look...
Oh, but sometimes that's in your favor.
Yes. Though. What it matters is to have a great fucking demo tape. When you get to a certain level, what I'm learning to do now is saying, okay, I can't be the one to contact people. So I have to figure out how to get my agents, my publicists, a manager, whoever it is, to make that call. And that's hard.
So I want to ask you, hindsight, what you know now that you didn't know when you were starting out at 18.
Start from the top and work your way down. Don't
And
start
what
from
does
the
that
bottom.
mean?
That means if you're young and cute, try to get a lead in a series. Don't go out until you're completely ready. Spend a couple years in class. Spend a couple years maybe being an extra and learn everything and then present yourself.
And do you think that's why you are so entrenched as an actor in classes?
Well, I want to be good. I mean, that's what I want. I want to be good at what I do. That's the most important thing to me. You know, even if I'm in some shit film, I want you to go, God, you were good in that. You know, you elevated what you were with. And I also want to be a support in bringing this story forward. And it's important to me. It's all about so I could do this, so I could act with great people. And then I go back to Birth of a Nation and arriving on that set the first day, and it was like, I felt like, wow, I'm in this. And then we did the first scene, and he said, that was great. You know, and it was just like, I never felt like I didn't belong. And I think Nate said something once, and I'd heard it before, it's when talent meets opportunity. And I'll tell you one little funny, interesting story. And it's on my refrigerator. I was doing an article to promote the film with a gay magazine where they put me on the cover. It was a smaller magazine. After the interview was done, they said, we'd like to get a quote from Nate Parker. And the movie was going to open in a couple days. And they were going to put it online, and then it would be in the magazine later that month. And I said, you're not going to be able to get them, but here's this publicist's number. They send me the article before it goes to print to check it over for any mistakes and things I'm doing or shows or dates and everything. The guy was really nice to do that. And I never looked at it because I'd already read it.
You thought?
Yes. Was it you or someone, a friend who had seen it and read it, they said, did you see what Nate wrote about you? And I had to scoop myself off the floor because he wrote this 3 paragraphs that Jason showed up with support, humor, risk, it's exactly who I wanted to be. And somebody saw me, just like Oprah says. And that's all you really want, is to be seen, you know, as an actor.
Well, something I want to say to artists out there listening is that if you do the work, if you have passion, if you leave no stone unturned, things will happen for you.
You have to be willing to know that it might not happen the way you think it's going to happen.
Yes, okay.
Because my trajectory is very different than what I thought. And it's so much harder than you can imagine. And
But
I
it's also so much more fulfilling than you can imagine.
Sometimes I used to think, God, I'm just so happy to work. And then then you get to a point where you work with, oh God, this guy is so unprepared. This is so sloppy. And then you start to say, no, I don't want to do that. Yes, I want to do this. So you learn as you're going. But I also say, and we differ on this, this is not a business for everyone. You have to really want this.
You have to want it when it's good, and you have to want it when it's not good. You know,
and
it's like,
you know that song, Mama Said There's Going to Be Days
That's
Like
right.
This?
And there are going to be days like this. But the truth is, you're an artist. So it doesn't matter what the day is. What is true is that you're an artist. So just live your art.
May I quote Miss Barbara Streisand?
Please do.
Someone called her, a friend of Barbara Streisand who had a daughter wanted to be an actress, said, please meet with my daughter. And the daughter says to Barbara, she says, do you think that I should be an actress? And Barbara said, well, if you have to ask, no. It has to be who you are. And then I was reading backstage, and there was an article called Lifers. You know, and I've thought about quitting a million times. And I'm a lifer.
At our age, when we started, we were daring. We had our hit list.
Can I tell you right now?
Made those phone calls.
I still do it. I will look up on the net, and I have a thing on my phone that comes up with which movies are coming out, and I'll go, who's this director? So Variety every year does the 10 directors to watch. So every year when that comes out, I go through every single one of them, and I look to see what they're doing, whether I want to work with them, and I try to write them a letter. Not a long letter. I just say, hey, I love your work. I want to work with people that excite me. Your work excites me. Here's my demo reel. You know, here's my IMDb page, you know.
And that is what it takes to be in this business, to go the extra mile. Not just wait for auditions, but to reach out to people. You know, reach out to whoever the movie star is of the day.
You should reach out to people that actually speak to you.
Yes.
Because the more genuine it is for you, the more it's going to resonate with the other person.
Absolutely. But it's important to have those lists. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
important to network. It's important to get out there and continue to train and prepare and focus on what speaks to you, because that, what do I like? Maybe the roles aren't available this year, but the truth is, at some point, if you endure, if you stay the course, things are going to turn your way. Areas that you see common sense is lacking.
First thing, I never tell an actor don't do something, ever, because then we're thinking about not doing it. As an actor, I say, know why you're in this scene, what you want. Know where you are in this film. I could never figure that out in the beginning. So, doctor, here's your chart. Is it, doctor, here's your chart? I couldn't say, doctor, here's your, so what am I doing? I'm doing my job in the film, so I'm supposed to say, doctor, here's your chart. Doctor, I could never do it right, because it was just too much. I can't do one line. It's just not going to happen.
And that's something else you need to know. Some
Yeah.
people are great at one-liners.
No.
Some people can go in there and nail them, and some people not.
Nina Foch taught me something that was great. Always come from somewhere, always go to someplace.
But that is basic acting.
But not for a lot of people, because they don't take classes. They don't know. They just take audition classes.
Yes.
They are great at auditioning, but when it gets to the job, you can get
They're
the
in
job, but then
trouble.
you're not going to get another one. Watch movies. Watch television. Go to the theater. Also, what I say is when you watch a film, no editing, because so if I'm doing a scene and you're the star and I don't want to be cut out of the scene, I can go, honey, what do you mean? So they can't cut me because I'm already in the shot. Or, I really think this is what you should do. Or did you see this? Did you see this over here? They can't cut away from me.
Right.
It doesn't always have to be about the star without, taking focus. And I've had people say, oh, Jason, your hand was in the shot. Oh, I had no idea. Oh, God.
Thank you so much for joining us. Check Jason Stuart out on jasonstewart.com. Catch us next time. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel.
I already
Common
did.
Sense
I already
Mamita.
did.
Not you, them.